The rain hadn't let up all day. It was the kind of storm that seemed to echo what Ethan Reynolds felt inside, relentless, gray, and heavy. Ethan was a single dad, raising his 6-year-old daughter, Maisie, in a rundown part of Portland. Life hadn't been kind lately. His hours at the mechanic shop had been cut. His truck barely ran. And rent was 2 weeks past due. But Ethan never let Maisie see his worry. She was the light he protected with everything he had left. That night, as they drove home from the grocery store with only bread, peanut butter, and a carton of milk, Ethan spotted a woman standing alone at the edge of the road. Soaked to the bone. No umbrella. No car nearby. And she wasn't flagging anyone down, just staring blankly into the storm like she didn't know where she was going. "Daddy, she looks sad," Maisie whispered from the back seat. Ethan didn't hesitate. He pulled over. "Ma'am, are you okay?" he asked gently, stepping into the rain. The woman looked up, startled. She was in her 30s, dressed in what once must have been an elegant coat now drenched and clinging to her frame. Her mascara had run, and her hands trembled as she clutched a leather purse like a lifeline. My phone's dead. I just needed to clear my head. But now I'm lost," she said, her voice cracking. Without pressing, Ethan opened the passenger door. "Get in. You'll catch pneumonia out here." She hesitated but then saw Maisie's curious eyes watching from the back seat. "You sure?" "I'd want someone to stop if it were my daughter," Ethan replied simply. Back at Ethan's modest 2-bedroom apartment, the woman, whose name was Lena, warmed up with a blanket and a cup of cocoa that Maisie insisted on making herself. Ethan offered her dry clothes, a flannel shirt and sweatpants that belonged to his late wife. He didn't ask any more questions. "I had a fight with my brother," Lena finally said, staring at the cup in her hands. "He thinks I've lost touch with reality, that I don't understand how normal people live anymore. Maybe he's right." Ethan just nodded. "Sometimes, life breaks us down to build us back better." Maisie added quietly, "When Mommy died, Daddy said love is what keeps us standing. Not money." Lena's eyes welled up. "Your daughter's wise." "She's had to be," Ethan said, brushing her hair. Lena spent the night on their lumpy couch. In the morning, Ethan drove her to a quiet neighborhood she pointed out, a gated community far too upscale for a man like him. She smiled faintly. "Thank you, Ethan. For not treating me like I was crazy or dangerous. Just human." He nodded. "We all need help sometimes." 2 weeks passed. Ethan didn't think he'd see her again. But then came the knock on his door. Lena stood there, glowing, in designer jeans and a tailored coat, holding a small stuffed giraffe for Maisie and a folder for Ethan. "I wasn't entirely honest," she admitted. "My full name is Lena Whitmore. I run a few companies, tech, real estate, a few foundations." "The fight with my brother?" "It was about cutting a $1 billion deal while I was questioning whether I even knew how people really lived. And then, you showed up." Ethan blinked. "You're that Lena Whitmore?" She smiled. "I don't expect you to be impressed. But I owe you something. Not just for the cocoa and flannel, but for reminding me that kindness is still currency." She handed him the folder. Inside was a job offer. A partnership in a community garage she planned to open. Full health benefits. A salary triple what he was making. And a scholarship fund in Maisie's name. Ethan was speechless. Lena leaned down to hug Maisie. "You taught me that love, not wealth, is what keeps us standing." Months later, the grand opening of the Whitmore Family Mechanics and Outreach Center buzzed with excitement. Ethan stood beside Lena as they cut the ribbon, with Maisie holding both their hands. Reporters asked, "Why here? Why a garage?" Lena smiled. "Because one man didn't judge me. He offered warmth, cocoa, and kindness when I had nothing but a dead phone and a broken spirit. Sometimes, the smallest acts create the biggest changes. In a world often divided by wealth, status, and suspicion, Ethan reminded us that humanity isn't measured by what we have, but by what we give when no one's watching. And Lena reminded us that even the most powerful hearts can be humbled by a single act of selflessness. Kindness is never wasted. Sometimes, it saves a billionaire.